Yeah, so we're going to start with looking at Thomas Sowell being granted bail. We're going to watch that video. Basically, I'm just going to go through a heap of what's happened, just little bits and bit pieces, the main parts, and a little bit of add a little fun parts just for it to be amusing. Uh, and just so that we get a taste of what has happened lately.
I've been staring at a concrete wall for 72 days. Feel pretty good to be in the sun. Pretty good.
So, Thomas Sowell, Captain Chemo himself, keeping on with the LARP, even still in court, he's got his fucking NSN badge there. He's wearing like a military casual uniform, and then he's got like either a Bible or like Mein Kampf, probably. It looks like he has two books. I know that he was allowed to get Mein Kampf while he was in jail or whatever.
Do you think that you'll comply with it?
Sure, why not?
I love that. It's near impossible to get through this without hearing someone from across the street just go, "You fucking Nazi scum."
Sometimes you have to fight different power positions. Is there any reason?
I went on holiday once and they're arguing that it's a breach of our positions. Now I've always played the game by the rules and I'm going to keep fighting for Australia. So we make a decision. Look, there's people that hate Australia, you know.
Not even Not even a connection, just like straight up, yeah, they're calling me a Nazi, get off the streets. Yeah, no, people just hate Australia, It's just the way it is. Um, let that be, let that be the indication from him that he basically just like one way or another with this fucking NSN thing. I am of the opinion they are not going to last that long. Well, not that they don't last long, but they're just going to break up into like other groups and whatnot. This is what always happens. I don't think Thomas Sowell has that much longevity. I've heard granted just rumors and like internet rumor shit, but a lot of chatter about like, well, also questions around his like mental not like stability, well, definitely lack of stability. uh, Signs of brain damage, actual signs of brain damage. Uh, I mean, who in God's name said to him that it was okay to look like this, regardless of all the Nazi shit? I do not know. It does not work. It just makes him look like a fucking condom on the head.
They wave Aboriginal flags, they wave Palestinian flags, but ultimately they just hate Australia. So those that fight for Australia are gonna, hear this kind of nonsense from these scumbags. And
Yeah. People, real Australians, gonna hear this and go, "Oh yeah, I'm really on. I don't like those guys. Those whoever the hell them random people are off camera."
it's not gonna stop us. You're a scumbag, you hate Australia. I'm just holding a religious book.
We'll just do religious book. Probably still my car.
Correct. Oh, it's just a website, whiteaustralia.org.
Oh god. Yeah. Let's just let him do some fucking. Let him get a plug in. It's. I mean, we're in the propaganda wars.
Well, the Supreme Court's always fair. I've never had an issue with the Supreme Court. The Magistrates Court's always a mixed bag. So
How
it's very
reasonable.
50-50. A lot of the magistrates are just activists. They're just acting activists. So, yeah.
Activists. Notice be never never stop taking notice, like the noticer, which we'll be having a look at. But never stop taking notice of the fact that all of their language is very American framed, or like it's shit that we've already been hearing in America. And I know that fascism, it's international. It's despite whatever aesthetic difference it is from one country to the next, it's ultimately the same shit. But normally, like the Nazis, the judges were typically on the Nazi side, actually. So it's a bit different. I don't
They're
know.
just there to give you guys a soundbite. What's very reflecting. Yeah, it's an interesting experience. It's like a monastery. Yeah, last time it was more, 210 days last time. This time 72.
Oh yeah. Oh, this was probably one of my favorite times in the jail cell.
Yeah, I'm going to keep fighting for Australia. Yeah, and Australia is at a crossroads for its identity. And we believe that the Australian people should be sovereign in this country, not the third world. And that's what we're fighting for. We're fighting for the future of Australia's identity, for its national spirit, for our race and civilization. So, hail Australia. Thank you.
None of that actually pertains to any material, everyday, like addressing everyday material needs of people. It is all wishy-washy vibes. Fucking, oh yeah, for the. Did he actually say race? I think he actually did say race.
For our race and civilization.
Well, there you go.
Hail Australia. Thank you.
What did you make of
That's all.
What did you make of the
Oh, look, people that attack me, people that attack us, people that attack those waving Australian flags, yeah, I think they should be concerned with that behaviour. No, I don't ask them questions.
That's his missus.
$20,000 is a lot of money for anyone for that. Yeah.
I'm sure he's going to be able to pay for it. I'm sure. No matter, like, despite the consequences that the guys in Sydney are probably getting, I don't think it's going to be hard for him to get $22,000. That's all she had. Well, I mean, to be fair, she was at the front most of the time before. That... What a queen.
Shut up, you communist. Go move to the Congo. You'll do nothing.
What? What? It's a fucking meme come to life. Oh my god, I mean, look at him. Look at this. This is a fucking meme. This is like one of those Wojak memes you see. Oh, if only we could see that other woman on there, like, that he called a communist. If only we could see her there, so then we could have the words, what was it again? Oh, you communist. Oh, go back to Congo. I don't even, she didn't sound like she would have been someone from Congo. Also, classic trad wife look, of course, but Tom Tanuki, who's done a bunch of videos about NSN, has a really good video about the NSN as basically a child, like, abuse ring and whatnot, and the section of women's role in that is very fascinating, I find. Just how very only used as a tool kind of thing they are seen as, and the way she is dressed here just sort of reminded me they're all dressed that fucking same way. Australia. Nice dress, mate. She's got like 20 of them, that exact color, at least. So yeah, Thomas Sewell's back out. I mean, he's on bail. He'll probably have certain conditions, and they talked about how much money it was going to cost him and whatnot. I'm sure he's not. I think I read somewhere that he's going to be required not to affiliate, like go near anyone and anywhere associated with the NSN, which like good, or like even contact, which like good luck. He's still gonna find a way. He's still gonna find a fucking way. But But it puts pressure on them, makes things a bit more difficult, and otherwise, I found that video rather funny. Um, but anyway, we then have the noticer here, which is one of my favorite, I guess, Australian local far right slop fucking the shit the stuff that gets like racist and bigots of all kinds riled up over like stories that there may be like a nugget of truth in, and they've just fucking ramped it up to the extreme of detail. Like give them credit. There's a lot of colourful writing in these articles on the Noticer, but factual news. Anyways, so yeah, Bale over clash with far left extremists. I don't think it was. It might have been Bale actually over there. I think. Anyway, has been granted bail more than 2 months after he was locked up over alleged clash with far left extremists in Melbourne. Um, yeah, I mean, I think I've looked at the noticer here before in that article in particular. If it's actually, I'll just see. Yeah, yeah, it's the one where they totally turn it into like, nah, that was actually them fighting it back against the left, which thankfully did not have much success in breaking into the overall mainstream point of view. So I'm glad about that. Uh, Mr. Swell, 32. He's only 32 years old. He's only 5 years older than me. That's actually genuinely very sad. No, applied for like I've to think what he was up to at my age and what I'll be up to at his age. Applied for release in the Supreme Court of Victoria on Wednesday on 25 charges relating to the alleged fight at so-called. To be clear, I'm using their news as a means for us to see what's going on, because I always find it really fascinating how they word shit. It's it. I guess to me, it's more so like the offensiveness of how how unattached from reality and just the truth they are. How like I said before, how they'll turn like one little bit of truth, like one little thing that you're like, okay, so that like decision that was made was right, uh, did happen. I mean, like and then they'll turn that into some grander culture war. That's the word I was looking for, culture war fucking story, like it was a battle of the front. Uh, Justice James Elliott ruled on the application on Thursday morning, granting bail strict conditions, including not entering Melbourne CBD or going within 200 meters of King's Domain, the site of the illegal Aboriginal. Yeah. He said the prosecution had not proved Mr. Sewell was an unacceptable risk to the community, which is fucking beyond me. I mean, which would be diminished by the bail conditions as his alleged offending is related to being in public places with others. Oh, okay. So it's like, we can't be around these people, so like, well, what do you want? Speaking to the media after walking out of court, told her, yeah, we know what he's told when asked. Yeah. On Wednesday, he was filmed holding up a piece of paper with his group's website. Just to think, I'm just trying to imagine looking in a history book at an old black and white photo and seeing like Hitler holding up Minecraft.com. Look, these people who are Australia, they wave Aboriginal flags, they wave Palestinian flags, but ultimately they just hate Australia. Oh yeah, we read that bit before. Saw that bit, I should say. Was arrested on September 2nd, was refused bail in magistrate's court because, the the activists. He is one of the 15 members charged with the alleged brawl at Camp Sovereignty, which was being used by far left to attack Australia. March for Australia attendees returning to their cars after the immigration rally. Yeah. Last month, Mr. Swell, representing himself in court, which always goes well, beat a charge of offensive behaviour over. Yeah, that's right. over a 2023 March. His political is in the process. And then, you know, by the way, by the way, guys, we're gonna by the way, they're doing elections. They're gonna be running candidates for the elections. Like, fucking, this is so obviously. I know that the notice are hooked in with MFA, and conveniently, that is going to be a relevant thing um, in a moment. So I just wanted to also point out, like, yeah, the next article that the noticer did, by the way, right after the one about Thomas Sowell, Fury as woke Victoria Police celebrates Trans Week amid violent crime crisis. Not even gonna read it. Just that's what we're working with there, with who we were reading the content of. And this was another one, I think. Oh no, this is like a lot more recent. The establishment versus free speech, democracy, and you. And yeah, like it's obviously they're doing like 2015, 2016, uh, just well more so like just before Donald Trump was relevant in American politics, in the 2016 race, but like the bit before that with all of just the way that Fox News and then like the burgeoning online far right starting to grow and YouTube and whatnot, and just this is what they would do. Just fucking create culture war after culture war battle out of the most minuscule things, and then use that to redefine what things mean. And then once you've done that, you then start basically redefining the rules without actually having to redefine the rules. You just redefine it in people's heads. And, well, yeah. So going back to now the NSN Sydney rally, that one that, all those people got fucking seen with their faces. I don't know what was the decision here. I don't know why they thought this was going to be a good idea. They basically just went out to Sydney. Well, let's see here. Senior held an anti-Jewish protest outside New South. So they went to New South Wales Parliament, 60 of them, 60 odd, whatever. Oh, sorry, South African national. Oh, this guy's a South African national. Well, yeah, yeah. So they went to New South Wales Parliament to do an anti-Jewish protest. 60 of them, roughly. They had an anti-Jewish banner, and to be clear, we're not talking like they actually were based anti-Israel, anti-imperial, and we're just having like mainstream media doing the fuckery around with, the Zionism equals Jew and all that shit. No, no, no. It was. Do we get the actual banner? Yeah, where is it? Abolish the Jewry. The Jewish. Oh, yeah, sorry, the Jewish lobby. And then it has whiteaustralia.org because we got to still have our fucking. We got to show. We got to advertise our products. But yeah, anyways, all these guys have been, have had photos taken of them. White Rose Society has done a bunch of identifying of them all, like spotting where they all are, where they come from, where they work, what their names are, social media, all the likes. Like we got it here. All these people. Let me just see how much. Yeah, there's a lot here. So let's just. Yeah. So Gruder, Matthew Gruder, was a civil engineer, senior member of the New South Wales chapter of NSN. Also, it was being identified. I love this one. The members of the NSN include an aspiring rapper. Might explain the hip hop music in the movie that they did, their doco thing. Who works as a personal trainer at a gym in one of Sydney's most multicultural suburbs. Huh. As well as an English as a second language teacher and a former bar manager who is before the courts facing domestic violence charges. Oh, well, we wanted to bring him along. He didn't think this could have made that any worse. What the fuck? What is the logic, mate? I was starting to think the NSM was at least a little bit more intelligent and like, uh, you know, switched on than the MFA, but I'm starting to have second thoughts. One IT worker from Sydney's North Shore has been let go by his employer after he was spotted in pictures from yeah, we know about that. A manager at a regional branch of Australia Post and a young race car driver has also been identified. Contacted the driver responded with a laughing emoji. Real. Uh, the group appeared alongside yep, Joel Davis. We know about Joel Davis. New South Wales figurehead Jack Eltis at a made for social media demonstration, which has sparked criticism of police who allowed it to go ahead. Yeah. There's been fallout from the protest has dominated New South Wales. So then, who else has been? There's no sign beyond one image in which he poses wearing the distinctive black flag. Appears along his side. Who lists a Sydney-based engineering firm, Orcon, as his employer in the online job profile. In an online job profile, is a frequent attendee of New South. I keep saying it. NSN events, including the August March for Australia. Yeah. Anti-immigration rally where the group led chants of Heil Australia. Yeah. Orcon, which boasts of contract. Yeah. And this was the ADF in New South Wales government. Agency contracts with them. Didn't answer, does not suggest share his political views. But let's be real, that she lives with him. Unless she's just trying to escape sometime soon. I'm just a bit doubtful of that. After she was contacted for comment, her husband responded, I note that you intend to drag my wife into this and her ability to earn an income. Absolute scum behavior. Ankle. All right, buddy. Let's 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 calm down. I think they were just asking if they could get like a contact. You people, or even if well, contacted for comment, mate, come on. You people want us unemployed. Oh, yeah, you kicked out the street and want our family broken up and my newborn to starve. All because I disagree with you politically. What you try to do to us personally is far worse than any of our general political ideology. Bro, you're fucking neo-Nazis. You're like, that's the funny thing is, that would make it, that's what tells me for a moment they're like, maybe did he think they weren't aware of the NSN bit? Do you think it was like he thought they just knew about like MFA? Because it's like, that's what I expect from the MFA people, not from NSN. He has previously been photographed leading NSN training sessions and has been spotted wearing the silver wristband reserved for NSN leaders in photographs with his pregnant wife. The wristband is inscribed with the words "Blood and Honor," a slogan associated with the Hitler Youth. The Department of Home Affairs did not respond to a request for comment. Also among those identified after the rally are Martin, a guy, a personal trainer at Anytime Fitness. Well, there you go. An aspiring rapper with 8 subscribers on his YouTube channel was identified via his distinctive tattoos. Fairfield in Sydney's west is among the city's most multicultural suburbs. He has posed for photos alongside non-white colleagues on the. Yeah, well, he might not be that into the. Yeah, I mean, the NSN's pretty clear with its white supremacy. Did not respond to a request for comment. In a statement, Anytime Fitness said it was not aware of his involvement and would investigate. Yeah. Also identified was Christian Mutton, who has previously appeared on social media teaching English as a second language at a private Sydney school. Is this their way of just like getting out their rage from like, work frustrations or something? Former bar owner Adam Carrick, who is facing domestic violence related charges of assault and yeah, we've heard about that. I remember hearing about that way ages ago. In response to a follow-up text message, He wrote, "Final warning, stop messaging me now. Your messages are unwanted anymore. Equals police report, safety complaint, court. This is your only warning." Ah. Also present at the rally was longtime Oscar Tuckfield. Tuckfield, whose neo-Nazi infiltration of the New South Wales Young Nationals made headlines in 2018. Another senior Northern New South Wales leader, Gabe Seymour. Why are their names so gay? Is an ex-pharmacy student who previously led the NSN's Queensland chapter and has posted online glorifying the Christchurch terrorists and sharing digital blueprints for 3D printed guns. Yeah, that's great. The NSN has been on a recruitment tier of late. Tear, probably. Flooding social media. Yeah, they've been really going fucking at it. With the help of a close friend and misogynist. Oh! Recent stunts including ambushing politicians on the federal election trail. And yeah. We know about all that stuff. New South Wales, where the NSN expects the easiest election prospects, its local chapter has been growing rapidly. While it had just a handful of regular members in 2022, it draws about 72 monthly training boot camps. I mean, let's be real though, it's still not that much. This masthead previously revealed the identities of several Victorian-based NSM members, including soldiers as part of a major investigation in 2021. Lovely. So this is, oh no, others include an Australia Post worker and a young race car driver, another an IT worker. We're just getting like reruns of the same stuff we've said. Obtained by, oh, uh, that those members are not out as unmasked Nazis. Some hold high-paying jobs in useful places, such as those with government contracts. Well, so much for that then. Sewell has claimed as part of the NSN's plan to recruit men with access to money and influence. Yeah, 100%. By the way, like, the MFA people or like whoever, like they're all like of the opinion that the big threat is like foreign influence in like the government and whatnot. It's like, bro, you're just doing the same shit, like, but you're Nazis. And I don't even know, yeah. Others in the Australian Nazi group have direct ties to prescribed international terror groups, and many members have been convicted of. But the NSN itself has not been banned in Australia. I mean, well, what is the point really of banning them? Like, what? Like that means all of them are. You can go after them now with like full force. I mean, I don't know. That's not for me to judge. Queensland section of the March for Australia organisers, like for every state and whatnot, they've broken off from March for Australia. I guess this ages back, not like them specifically, but I just figured that they were all eventually going to start hating each other because it's just the way that this shit always goes. It's always a downward spiral to to bottom feeders and lowest common denominators, all the stuff. Uh, so I think this is just the beginning of it, honestly. Uh, so I'm just going to read March for Australia's post about it, where they announced it, but then we're going to actually look at what the Brisbane guys say. The crew at March for Australia feel it's necessary to address recent developments regarding Brisbane organisers breaking away from the national organisation under a new name, Australian Marches, which, yes, that is its name. Not much creativity in this folk. At our previous two events, there were many complaints at Brisbane coming across more like a campaign event for conservative politicians rather than what MFA is supposed to be, a grassroots movement expressing popular dissatisfaction with the political establishment on the left and the right over mass immigration. It definitely, when I was there on October 19th, it definitely felt like it was a rally or whatever for like One Nation and whatnot. We wanted these marches to be by the people for the people. However, the conservative establishment who initially went against this rally are now trying to capture it and water down its message to turn it into a campaign vehicle. March for Australia will still be organising nationally for next year's Australia Day celebration. That's the January 26th thing that they're doing. With the intent of restoring national pride on our national holiday, not facilitating the political campaigns of Zionists and lukewarms. Uh, However, it has come to our attention that Brisbane organisers Shadow Chow, it's not Shadow Chow, it's Shallow Chow, and Bender have refused our demands that they remain uncompromising on messaging rather than bending over backwards to accommodate politicians. They have now created a completely new website, which you would have thought would have been fine considering they broke up, right? While still using our official branding, and have informed us that they have gone independent. Despite only launching it yesterday, the website is months old, suggesting that this is the culmination of some type of conspiracy. Oh god. Everyone at March for Australia is very disappointed to hear of these developments, especially considering the fact that the same people behind it are the ones who presented themselves as donors and attempted to buy influence over the national organisation. Ooh. We, of course, rejected their advances. It seems that although they couldn't buy us all, unfortunately they could buy Brisbane. One of the main points of contention between the rest of our organisers and Brisbane's was their reluctance to talk about ethnicity or racial demographics, as is reflected in some of the messaging on their website. Yeah. Why weren't you guys willing to do the Great White Replacement? Why weren't you willing to do it? Why weren't you willing to talk about that? You weren't willing to talk about how the Jews using, probably like using the indigenous, the Aboriginals to make some big deal about, Australia Day being on the day that Captain Cook came here, and ever since we kind of just fucking killed them and made life impossible for them and horrible for them. But they keep talking about it and reminding us, and it really makes us feel bad. And so I think it's the Jews behind it. And now we're having demographic differences because of racial demographic differences because of immigration and blah blah. Why didn't you guys do that in Brisbane? This sentiment also revealed itself amongst many of the speakers chosen to give a speech at both of the previous marches in Brisbane. March for Australia will still be organising nationally for next year's Australia Day celebration. Keep in mind, these were also the people where, like, in what was it, Beck Freedom and her husband were talking about the whiteness of Drew Pavlo. So, like, that is their. Those are the kinds of conversations they're having over there. They're very child-minded. But details surrounding the event are yet to be finalised, especially when considering the viability of organising in Brisbane. We hope everyone at Australian Marches considers the impact mass immigration has not only on the economics of the country, but on the people who built it. This is fucking white supremacy. Like to be clear, like it is so fucking obvious, really, to anyone with room temperature brain cells, that like when they're saying not mass immigration has not only an impact on economics, which you're right, it does. It tends to have a positive impact, uh, but on the people who built it, it's so obvious that they're just talking about white people. And some of these people do go deeper by going into the Anglo thing specifically. Heritage matter. Yeah, here we go. Heritage matters. Identity matters. Yeah, well, what happened to? I don't want your identity politics. Identity matters. And like they just sound like fucking NSN here. And demographics determine where our nation will head culturally. They're culturally. That's all they fucking care about. There is nothing wrong with wanting Australia to remain a majority Anglo-European country, and refusing to talk about this aspect is a disservice to the movement and its supporters. This is why I think, this is why I think that whenever, like, when are we going to get the point where we get to talk to these people? I'm so fucking annoyed of just hearing them talk to one another and then just sound, honestly, just fucking stupid, like, and just dribble out their mouth and just say some of the dumbest bullshit, and then we just have to sit here, go over it, watch over it, go, oh yeah, that's what that means, this is what that means, and I don't even get to say anything back to them. It's so frustrating. I feel like at least in America, it feels like there's a bit more like back and forth here. It's just painful. This is like I'm so bored. I'm not even I don't even get offended by this shit. I'm just bored. There is nothing wrong with wanting Australia to remain. Yeah. Like I just want to say, well, okay, but I don't care about it staying a majority Anglo-European country. Oh, but you're Anglo, you're European, heritage. Whatever. I don't give a fuck. I don't care. And frankly, I've at least the amount of white people I've got in my life, like it's fine. I've got enough. I've got enough. I'm not in a high need of more white friends. March for Australia will not compromise to meet the campaign requirements of cowardly politicians or the moderate whims of donors who want to cuck our messaging. Cuck. I like that they just say it once. They don't even use it again. Cuck our messaging. We exist to pressure them, not to be pressured by them. We don't serve them. They're supposed to serve us. The conservative establishment doesn't have the answers, and this usurpation. Is that actually a word? Is that? I wanna. Let's search that. Okay, it's real. What man? I just sometimes they throw some fucking wild ones in there for you. In Brisbane, and this usurpation in Brisbane will not be replicated elsewhere. Please, guys. Don't I? This is why we really. Thing is, I think as well. Maybe I'm a bit biased here, but I feel like there had been in a Brisbane a really good focus on trying to split these guys. Like in regards to the NSN stuff, like I feel like we did a really good job of like making it like you don't do shit with NSN. Like don't do shit. But like NSN became so toxic, and so I guess the guys in Brisbane were very like, I'm reading the writing on the wall here at least. They're also, I will say, I admit, they're the least crazy of the lot. They're the least insane. Some of them at least, maybe. Grassroots nationalism will be taking back Australia Day because, we don't have it anymore. We don't do it anymore. Australia Day's gone. Nationwide, regardless of Brisbane being hijacked by the forces of containment. I love it. So that's what they have to say on that matter. Then we have Scotty Chow. He has a video here. I'm going to now quickly pause it. Can we not play? Okay, whatever. Uh, so the Emmett. Yep. No. Okay. So this is now Shallow Chow. So he is one of the Queensland, Brisbane, whatever organisers who then split off to do Australia marches. And so this was his comments, or like, I don't know, statement or whatever, just his personal one. We will be potentially looking at Australian marches specifically a statement, but we'll see. The MFA leadership have hated on me since I wouldn't platform the NSN. Every suggestion we put up the chain for website updates, participant registration, media coverage, etc. We got shut down. I find this really funny because it's like their website, they being MFA, their website's fucking dog shit boring. Like it's the most minimal thing that you could have just allocated like someone just to volunteer doing time on that, and they could have done so much more with it. And I was honestly mad on behalf of the potential attendees that like the website couldn't have even been like interesting. Queensland offered security and staging in every single state to keep. It's almost as if they needed to keep it cheap. And staging in every single state to keep NSN out. And this was rejected by Hugo, George, Jesse, and Beck. I don't know who Hugo is. I don't even think I know who George is. Jesse and Beck, we know they are. Because no donors allowed. Yet I was the donor. Um, wait. Queensland offered security and staging in every single state to keep NSN out. Which I've been saying this. They're probably gonna try and get security to try and keep out the NSN. That's what happened in Brisbane on October 19th. And so I was wrong in the sense of all around because what we've come to find is, oh no, this MFA is straight up just full on an NSN front. There's no if buts about it. Which does check out more with the overall evidence, to be fair. And so, like, what Scotty is saying here is like, yeah, we had security at ours. I offered, I guess, to pay for security or whatever and staging in every other single state. Therefore, the NSN weren't going to be needed because what we may ever look at later is the NSN supplied a lot of shit to August 31st. The MFA leadership are working with the NSN to register a white Australia party. It's that simple. We got messages wanting us kicked out after August 31st, told they were replacing us, and we weren't Nazi enough. I'll bring up these messages in a moment. We try to be nice about it, but dickheads are still pushing the sellout angle to stir shit and discredit Queensland. MFA leadership want the NSN to be Australia's political solution. It's that simple. Which I mean, we've just read the previous statement. It was literally saying we got to talk about the fucking demographic, ethnic, racial ethnic and racial demographic numbers. I'm not saying don't go to an MFA event because you're a fucking pussy, Scott. That's why. You all should be demanding honest answers from Beck and Co. Oh, well, maybe if that's what he means by that. They've lied through their teeth. They know it, and right now, reading this, they are seething. We've held fire and let them cook. Stand by for the comeback. And anyone saying shut up for the sake of the cause, get help. Nazis got no place in Queensland, and if you're leaning into white supremacy, get a head check. Your government hates you. The NSN is the symptom of a structural defeat created by the most divisive and fucked up bunch of commie globalist scum politicians Australia's ever seen. Look, I didn't say he was smart. Okay, that being me now. I didn't say he was a clever guy. He just is able to recognize the writing on the wall, was all. And he's not as insane. Like in what within his worldview, I think Scotty here actually kind of believes to some extent in the value of like democracy, for example. I don't think he probably like understands how the democratic process works in all the different ways necessarily, or that like he necessarily gives a fuck about certain people as a part of the democratic process, but he nonetheless has some sort of belief in it, which is obviously a large thing that is making and also I don't think look, he's probably got some like deep down racism like everyone else does, like deep down is a sense of like just simply being brought up with whoever your parents are. You may have some prejudices that may not be addressed until you finally do address them, if you ever do want to address them. I take it based on the groups he's been around, probably doesn't want to address them that often. But that being said, if you put that to the side, if you put to the side like prejudices that you may not be actively aware, he's probably the least racist amongst all these people. From my perspective, like what I've seen, he tries. I think he does a. He intentionally. No, he. I think he. He's just not racist in that sense. He doesn't really make it about race as much. Don't get me wrong, consequences of the things he pushes for still is racist. We have like the first confirmation that we're talking about. That oh mate, Scotty was talking about. This message by Thomas Sowell. Where is it? The Vanguard will be attending the White Australia rallies on August 31st. This is in reference to then, so this is probably even before 31st. We will be present in all cities as well as Townsville. We'll be attending a good faith in uniform without masks. We have had positive ongoing contact with the event organisers nationwide who are aware that we will be attending. The event organisers are agreeable for any groups to attend, provided they support the stance of ending immigration, which wasn't obviously going to go, wasn't going to be difficult to get these people on board with. The message, the banner, and the slogans will be stop immigration. No illegal actions or gestures will be performed by our members of the day. Yeah, good. We covered that then, eh? We're covered. Obviously. Obviously not. Obviously that didn't end up being the case. From Thomas Sowell and fucking self. Brilliant job, buddy. Brilliant job. Ultimate gambit. And then we had another message which was after August 31st and before October 19th, in reference to it, where it has our organization will not be attending the next MFA October 19th. Now, we don't know who this guy is. Uh, our leadership told the other organizers that we do not currently have the capacity to babysit their incompetent asses through another rally. If we go again as soon as October, we have had a, if we go again as if we go as soon as October, we have had a historic last few months, achieving things we couldn't have imagined in a few years ago. Our national leaders in jail. Oopsies. We're stretched thin, and quite frankly, we have much more important tasks to get done. Furthermore, we believe that it's too soon to go again. We made the case to the other organisers that it would be better to wait until November to let everyone recover from the last rally, get a strong showing at the second to build momentum towards doing the third rally on Australia Day. It's funny because like they're actually kind of correct on this. They're kind of right, like in just in the sense of like rally frequency, like doing that in a smart like scheduling. I can't disagree with them there. It is also clear that we cannot work with the other event organizers. They are incompetent, malicious. Now I'm saying his words. I'm quoting here. Completely with politics. Look, man, when they're right, they're right. Egotists, and they have no interest in unity. There is no common ground with them to advance our organization or achieve anything politically. They're not listening to our advice and want to do October. We made it clear to them that if they proceed, we won't be helping them organize it. They've made their choice, so it's up to them to deliver. You saw on September 13th what happens when we are not involved. August 31st rallies were a complete shit show in every city, which I'm very confused by what they mean by that because it's like you saw on September 13th what happens when we are not involved, and then the one where we were involved, it was a complete shit show. Anyway, they are right. They were a complete shit show, like MFA. To be fair, yeah, they fucking were. They always have been. They continue to be. I mean. They were terribly organised by the others and saved only by the efforts and knowledge of our leadership. In Melbourne, the stage, PA, security, banner, route planning, and literally everything else was provided by us. It was a similar story in every other city, outright sabotage or incompetence. It is a miracle that we were able to pull off such a successful day, and that's a testament to our abilities. But I'm guessing they didn't have as much influence over the Brisbane one because of whatever reason. From what I understand, like they do obviously have people here in Brisbane and whatnot, but it sounds like at least Victoria and New South Wales they have more, which interests me because like I would have thought, given Queensland being kind of like the more conservative state, they would have more here, but maybe it's just because like it's too fucking hot. People can't be bothered doing like dressing up like ninjas and running around doing Pilates. Where is it? It was a similar story, never outright sabotage and incompetence. It is a miracle that we were able to pull off such a successful day, and that's a testament to our abilities. If they don't respect our experience in political organizing, vastly superior to theirs, or the fact that we carried their entire event and protected them from getting bashed on August 31st, which I find very funny because like they were the reason why anyone were getting bashed, really, then they can get fucked. Also, the police would, but that's unpopular opinion. We'll get back to that. Then the other half to this message, I guess. Uh, as for Brisbane specifically, hell yeah, my home turf. We are not begging the likes of Shallow Chow and Dusty Bogan for a seat at their table. They are beneath us. If they won't invite us to be involved in planning or deliver a speech, then we won't attend out of principle. We made our point last time by upstaging them at their own event. So there you go. They weren't wanted to be involved with, probably because Shallow Chow, uh, for whatever reasons for him, Dusty Bogan is that like I believe a guy is actually like doing a like has ran for government before, failed, but like has. And there's another one that was involved in the Queensland MFA that's also running for government, but failed. But nonetheless, my point being, they have to try and actually maintain some sort of seriousness, even though some of their comments more lately have been a bit, you know, Joker mode. Trust me when I say that these clowns won't get anywhere. Dusty Bogan has been involved in politics for 10 years and has accomplished nothing. He has jumped ship from one failed project or group to the other, always parasiting off those more established than him because he can't create anything of his own. Right now, Shallow Chow is uppity because he caught a wave, put on a half decent rally, and thinks that lightning will strike twice. It's kind of true. It won't. And that was kind of true. That was kind of true. It didn't. Uh, we learnt 10 years ago in UPF, United Patriot Front, I think it was, that rallying for the sake of rallying doesn't achieve anything. That is true. I don't know why I'm saying that for fucking Nazis. We saw the same during COVID. Rallies by themselves do not result in building a political movement. This is why we went away from rallies for many years and shifted focus to building an organization. Chaotic rabbles that lack leadership and unified ideology do not direct political change. Organizations do. Ugh, it's like I'm listening to Mao Zedong himself. Uh, Chow, who is Scotty, doesn't know what our leadership learnt 10 years ago because he is a beginner to this. He'll be a flash in the pan, the same as all those freedom movement grifters. A year from now, we will be many times larger and have a political party. These bozos, spoilers, uh, 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 foreshadowing. These bozos will still be Twitter accounts with mediocre engagement. I do find that one funny. Over the next several months, we will be hosting our own events. This will include an inter-region meet, activism, and Australian month. Well, we saw that with Thomas Sowell's wife, didn't we? And social, cultural, and seminar events for our supporters. We loved having you with us on August 31st. As our organization grows and expands into numerous divisions, we will be incorporating our supporters more and more. We hope to see you there. Oh, I'm so happy for them. I'm so glad that it's all coming together, bro. It's all coming together. Um, Another thing is the March for Australia statement while we're here. The March for Australia, sorry, Australia Marches statement. I mean, you can forgive me, surely. The March for Australia Queensland team is reaffirming its position following recent online discussions, clarifying that I love that bit because it's like, yeah, that's how all this shit is done. You just do it all online, and it's just so unprofessional. Clarifying that there has been like, do you even send emails? Clarifying that there has been no takeover or change of intent within the movement. The goal has always been and remains to place Australians first and to call for an end to mass immigration until national stability, housing, and essential services can sustain our own people. This movement was built by everyday Australians who have kept their word from the beginning. This isn't a takeover, it's the fulfillment of a promise. We're simply continuing what we started, standing up for our country in its future. I love that they all just fucking sling the same fucking statements at each other, but it all means nothing. Uh, is entirely volunteer driven, not affiliated or funded by any political party, corporation, or external body. Our organizers give their time freely to ensure, yep. While recent confusion appears to have stemmed from miscommunication, the Queensland team remains focused on transparency and cooperation with all supporters who share the same values. So this is just okay, this was just we're leaving. Australia first until we die. Mass immigration is just not sustainable for our future. I thought you were going to do like a rhyme. It's even more boring.
So this is Bender. The National Socialist Network will never be a serious option because it is a self-destructive, universally reviled microcult that actively sabotages oh my God, Mason, its own stated goals at every turn. It is led by convicted criminals and violent fantasists who prioritize theatrical hate over strategy, ensuring zero appeal to anyone with an above 80 IQ. Their public displays include Nazi, you don't say, That's how they work. They truly believe that by being the biggest edgelords for media attention, they are shifting the conversation, since when in reality they are gifting government more power through every staged event and every scripted interview. I have a feeling this is interesting because I have a feeling this is ultimately like that kind of what's the term? It's like the opposite of a backhanded compliment, where like he's attacking them, but he's also kind of helping them in the same process because he's downplaying a lot of the actual shit they do. Because he's making them out to be just like a bunch of edgelords, like wannabe edgelords, when in reality they're actually like an organized neo-Nazi militia. This makes them political poison. I do agree to that to a certain extent. And anyone associated with them is immediately discredited, fired, or assaulted. I mean, that is the case. Their membership is tiny and unstable. I do somewhat agree with that. They cannot field candidates, win seats, or influence policy. Their obsession with Hitler and swastikas repels the very people they claim to represent, turning potential sympathizers into enemies. In short, the NSN is a controlled demolition of its own cause. In reality, it's just a loud, stupid, hateful distraction that ensures demographic concerns are never taken seriously. They don't fight the system, in fact, they feed it. Excuses to ignore the issue entirely. They're not a threat to inflated political power, they're a gift to it. It's a very worded way of saying, like, um, they're just edgelords. We drew the line on the 31st of August today. We share that with the public. It's been one thing that has given me the shits for months is the constant inferences to being tied with the bloody NSA. Quite happy that line has been drawn in Queensland. Let's just see more of what Bender says here. I appreciate nothing important. At this point, you may as well join the Liberal Party work for Channel 9 or join NT4. You're doing their work for them. By the way, this guy is a Nazi, from what I can tell. He's yeah, he says a lot of like NSN positive shit. So you think everyone on the right has to support NSN? How sad. I'm just curious. Absolutely not, but you are regurgitating using exactly the same talking points used by said entities. Not supporting them and smearing them are two different things. Yeah, there are some allegations about rumors about Shallow Chow being a meth head, which look, I did look into it. There's nothing really to guarantee. Well, I mean, this is a bit different, admittedly. That's a bit more on the nose. What I had seen before was just like there was a Reddit account called Shallow Chow, and 7 years ago it was in a bunch of like meth head subreddits. But there was no like there was no way you could tell it was him. Biggest hypocrite, you have tweeted multiple times praising Hitler and his ideals, and now that MFA wants nothing to do with you, you try and drag them under the bus. Is all of Brisbane on meth, or you just, or just you in jail? This is so short-sighted. Oh man, this guy has to be a fucking freak. We'll drive. You know what? They're probably both like this. I'm just going to assume that both of these guys are fucking NSM boosters. She'll say, and frankly incorrectly, in the same way that the extreme left and Antifa drives the political center left further to the left, the NSM would. Okay, buddy. Uh, I'm also interested to see like stuff that Bender responds to, because then that's like a bit more back and forth engagement. I don't really care when people are just saying random shit at each other. Like, you can say whatever you want in that context, and you can frame their arguments in however way you want. Okay. So yeah, that's Bender. That was Bender commenting on like in regards to like Scotty Shallow Chow's um comments about the Queensland lot leaving. So then this is just so we have an idea. This is now their social media. They're doing their own thing. Obviously, only got 301 followers at the moment. I mean, who knows what it'll become. I honestly will not be surprised. I see two potential things happening, honestly. I see that inevitably the Queensland lot fall back in line for whatever reasons, whether it's like they are falling out of relevance, whether it's they're falling out of relevance so they like make amends for that sake, or March for Australia just all completely falls apart. I lean more to that one. I feel like that'll happen because all these people are so much more spiteful. These guys are crazy motherfuckers. So yeah, it's only just starting. I think it'll be interesting to see if we end up like how much party participation's involved, like how many like One Nation and Bob Katter staff end up being there. Website upgrades. Yeah, and obviously their next one's gonna be the August 26th. Sorry, not August 26th. January 26th, Invasion Day, Australia Day. You know the whole thing. This is what's interesting. These guys will still do the birth rate is collapsing, and therefore that's why they're bringing immigrants. Blah 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 blah. They're watering down our population. And then we were reading the MFA like announcement of their breakaway, and they made a big point about how like, oh, well, they're not even willing to talk about the ethnic and racial demographic changes, and it's like, well, I don't know, I don't know, like they're still kind of talking about it. They're just like one step removed is all. Like, okay, like these guys just want to go more mask off is all. Which I do admit is somewhat refreshing, having watched from afar American politics, and there's so much bullshit. There's so much like, no, no, we're not Nazis. No, not at all. Not at all. But after they say some like horrendous fucking shit. And so yeah, they have their own website. We've got supporters. I guess we're doing fucking hell. Are you fucking kidding me? Like they want you to believe so fucking hard that one, this is a legitimate grassroots, salt of the earth, true blue Aussie movement, and that it's anti-woke in all of the exact same ways, sincerely like America, uh, while doing maybe to put it one way. They're so obviously influenced by America, but they try so hard to make out they try and do this like origin story and origin like they're trying to make out that they can do it originally here in Australia. That we're not in like directly inspired by anywhere else, that we are just like this is genuine, sincere, isolated cases of of pure Aryan or whatever, neo-Nazi Australians who are now getting linked together and creating all this shit. Like, it's so obviously funded to some extent by American influence. Like with the anti-woke, like it's just the terminology, I guess, is what I'm getting at. Then we have here like patriotism is not racist, and they're trying so hard to tell us that they're not racist. It makes you start to think like, I don't know, buddy. And again, these guys disconnected because they found out that NSN was operating through MFA. So like, they took a stand, they had a line, but still even then, next March, yeah, so there's probably not going to be much to know just yet. They probably don't even know much themselves. They're probably in the planning. So what was it? Saturday, the past Saturday that we had, so that would have been the 15th of November. Um, there was a pro-Palestinian protest over the Story Bridge, just over the pedestrian section, and in reaction, Dusty Bogan, who has his started his own group called Australia's Sons, or Aussie Sons, whatever, where they run around being larrikins, being bogans, and throwing Australian flags around because apparently you can't do that anymore. And then they obviously edit the footage to make it look like the cop car is chasing them, which it is probably just chasing someone else that they've seen from afar. But anyway, um, so they through well, Dusty Bogan announced that they were going to counter the protest on the Story Bridge. So people were a bit worried about what was going to happen. Just want to show this though. Oh my god, that's so loud. Lovely, so much. Okay, there, that's what we want. So yeah, drop the labels, all flags, branches, orgs, groups, movements. Basically, yeah, you shall not pass, calling all the they're gonna do Gandalf shit. Um, as Ned Kelly. Trying to cross, not on our watch. Okay. So he did that. Obviously, Bender promoted it at the time, made the video make it look a lot better being smaller. Get your Gandalf on, literally playing into it. Protect the bridge from the Hamas hordes. Australian cities are no place for Muslim terrorist protests. I mean, as you do, as you can expect from these fucking psychopaths. And then this was the video that he posted himself, uh, where it was like at, well, here we go, 2:30 on the day, 2:34. So let's just say this happened at 2:30. So where they are, let's see if we can see. Yeah, okay, cool. Around that corner, probably about another intersection or two, there's a park on the right, and like you can probably tell, it's kind of like it's across from that building there, basically. And that's where the protest was setting up, at least. So that's where I was hanging out, checking and watching, interviewing folks there, helping others with doing interviews and whatnot. And these guys did this here. Now, that's fine. I think they only sent like one guy over to be an issue or whatever, but he just sat there on his phone chatting to some guys in Thailand. But anyway, and so they did this. That was fucking unnecessarily loud. Why? So yeah, they put two flags up. Oh yeah, hell yeah. Oh, all that stuff. So cool. Yeah. Now, as you can see, that looked like a pretty decent show out for them from what it looked like. And they're two fucking Australian flags they put up. Um, Now, only one slight issue with that. Now I didn't get to see them during that. I was busy doing other things. This is what not the woman, don't worry about that. Don't worry about her. This is what I saw when I got there. At, I don't know, like, I don't think we actually got a time, but like, I think it might have been like 3:30. It's raining a bit. So you can hear the Free Palestine people much further behind me. And this is them. Like, there's the cops, and that's them. Alright? Now, we got other media people there. Now, a lot of these people aren't Australia's sons. I don't mean that in any suggestive means. I mean that by the name of Dusty Bogan's group. Most of these guys are actually with Destiny Church. For those who don't know, Destiny Church has been involved in a bunch of, typical anti-LGBT and like all the typical church shit. But like, it's a far right front from New Zealand that tries to co-opt kind of like Maori culture and well like tries to like intrinsically link Maori culture and Christianity, and furthermore by doing so with the purpose of using them for far right whatever, you know, movements and whatnot. Their leaders are extreme far right speakers. And so most of them were there. So there are a lot of just Maori guys, which was very confusing, especially when you consider, if we go back, if we consider the size shown here. You know, that's quite a hefty amount of people. Well, not hefty, but like, you know, it's fair enough. You got, it doesn't look like there's many cops amongst that, you know, like I think that's just the group. I mean, actually, now that I'm thinking about it, is that even, hang on, where is that? Oh, yeah, okay, so that's, so, and then they would have come into, they would have come like back, and then basically where the car's going, and then into there. So that's them, which man, you can't even tell actually if they're all fucking Australia Suns or uh, what was I going to say, or Destiny Church. These two flags weren't there anymore. When we came around, they weren't there anymore. So I guess the photo shot, the photo op, you know, they got it. They did what they needed, and then they fucked off. The Aussie Suns, that is. Um, the real enemy of the day, I feel like, was the rain, and it did not discriminate, to be fair. I will give them credit for that. Uh, then we have, let me see if I can just, yep, cool. Uh, then we have this really bizarre counter protest, I guess, behavior. So we got the march protesters. These guys I'm saying as the counter protesters. You know, they're doing their thing. These guys are quiet and patient, which was weird. Now, I sort of expected that. No, no, what am I saying? I didn't expect that at all. I expected this from the police, is what I was meaning. Like, them just to stand there still quietly, just like kind of stone manning it kind of thing. Uh, the others are just silent until, let's see, yeah, almost until right about now when, no, yeah, there we go. Now they're getting into it. They're doing the haka. And the reason they do the haka in Maori culture, you know, it's a war dance, or I don't actually remember, war cry, whatever. They're doing it because it's a means of trying to intimidate and whatnot, trying to show themselves to be strong and scary. But considering we're no longer doing warfare like that anymore, I feel like standing, waiting quietly for your opponents, enemies, whatever your term you want to use, basically get like not only come up to you, but have started to move off, started to move along, and then you jump into it. It's about, I don't know, it was a bizarre choice, in my opinion. And so, yeah, they did that. I don't know what that was about, why that was necessary of them. We have this guy here. Where is it? Yeah, here. This guy here with the Charlie Kirk shirt. He was with Destiny Church. They're with the Charlie Kirk shirt. Like, see, this is the thing, is what I mean. Like, it's such a obvi it's such a joke to me. I can't take it seriously. I will never take this stuff seriously. I refuse to not see this as a bunch of ridiculous bullshit. Because why the fuck does a Maori in Australia give a fuck about Charlie Kirk being shot? Who cares? But anyway, yeah, so nonetheless, our woke white brothers there were kindly, quietly, patiently taking time while taking the time while their Maori mates got to do their cultural ceremonial war war dance cry thing. None of this makes any sense. It doesn't make any sense. Oh, and as well, the last thing from last week, I guess, is the LNP, I guess, finding revolutionary new ways of how to be the least popular party in the country. So far, they've come up with a good idea, which is dropping any essence of a net zero policy, which I'm kind of glad because it's just like, well, I knew that was what yous were going to be like anyway, so I'm glad that yous are at least being honest. But now we're having to contend with the fact that one nation might actually eventually beat them. I don't know though. I I just don't see one nation being able to pull it off. They would be going from a minor to a major, just be near impossible. But yeah, I still am of the opinion that they've put Susan Lee up to lay whatever to basically fail. That's my opinion. Yeah.